Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I am going to make some walnut veggie burgers. Now this is not going to be a vegan recipe because I am choosing to use an egg instead of an egg substitute, but it is vegetarian. And so I am not the cook of my family by any means. Cooking is not my thing. I just kind of prepare. So I come from a family of really great cooks. My mother, her sisters, my sisters, but that's just not my thing. But I do like to prepare meals, and my meals are pretty simple most of the time. So anyway, I chose this walnut burger because I have been studying about foods that help combat depression. And I just believe the Lord has been showing me that we can all participate in our healing, with Him. And so He's been showing me some things. And so one of the foods that helps with depression is walnuts. And I like walnuts, so this is a good thing. So I found a few recipes online and took a little bit of ingredients from a couple of them, two main ones, and kind of made it my own in a way. So anyway, so I'm just going to prepare this and hopefully it turns out. So walnuts, I have found, a study found that eating just half a cup of walnuts reduced stress and depression, and also sleep quality improved. So that's from a study in the, it's called the M as in Mary, D as in David, P as in Paul, I blog. And it says that walnuts were found to improve brain function. And I said, okay. Other foods were green leafy vegetables, which I got a salad just from Trader Joe's, a prepared salad with spinach and some other goodies in it. So, and that's a vegetarian salad. There's no, actually it's a vegan salad. So, so I'm gonna pair that with my walnut burger and see how we come out. So, me and cooking. When I was growing up, like I said, I was always around a bunch of cooks, and I always had really good food growing up. And I never remember my mom teaching us to cook as much as she did all the great cooking. And there were so many of us. I think she was just like, let me cook, and then we come in and it was time to eat. So, which I didn't complain about. And then I became an adult and realized I didn't really know how to cook. And then I had other sisters who it just came naturally to them. So when I was really in my depressive states, and even before I knew what was going on, I would try to make things for myself and sometimes for others. And when things didn't come out, or when the recipe just didn't come out the way I wanted it to, or the way it was supposed to, I would become really hard on myself. And sometimes in the middle of trying to prepare something, I would just stop, and sometimes I think I even cried a little, and because I would be so frustrated. And then I started thinking, now I know those were the devil's words in my head, but I just started thinking things like, I will never learn how to do this. I can't do anything right. Those words, I can't do anything right, came out of my mouth all the time. When anything that didn't work, those words came out of my mouth. And I just didn't realize what I was doing to myself or my mental health by speaking those words like that. So part of my healing, the Lord just showed me, you know what? It's okay to not to fail, actually. I guess sometimes I hate using that word because I feel like if it doesn't work out, that means something else was meant to be. But sometimes, I guess you can just say it failed. Like, I messed up some recipes, but that didn't make me like this person who just couldn't do a thing, which is what I thought I was every time I messed up a recipe, which was often. I'm gonna admit that because I just didn't know what I was doing, and I was so hard on myself that I didn't allow myself to just fail and then try again. That wasn't in my vocabulary, trying again. I was just always thinking, okay, this failed, so something must be wrong with me, and I'll just never learn how to do this, and I'm just a horrible person, So, yeah, that was a whole thing. So I'm making this recipe, and lately I've been doing more cooking and just trying recipes and just saying, I'm gonna do my best. If it comes out, it comes out, and if not, I'm gonna learn something from what went right and what went wrong, and then figure out something else. And I'm not afraid to try to go beyond the recipe, like not afraid to try new things within the recipe, even though I used to be really afraid to do that because I'm like, okay, I'm not a cook, so I need to stay within that recipe for sure. So anyway, so I use my little, I have a really big, one of those big mega food processors. And then on one of the videos that I used to watch, a young lady had a mini food processor, which I didn't even know existed. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get that because I cannot stand pulling out my big food processor and then having to wash it and everything. Oh, it's just such a hassle. So I got this mini one. And so apparently what I should have done was kind of cut my recipe in half, or at least some, so it could fit in my little mini food processor, because I'm not going to eat 20 something burgers. So I didn't think of that, but that's okay. So here we are with this little mini food processor. And I'm just decided I'm going to get as much in there as I can. And I had to take some out and put all the stuff at the top that couldn't even get to the bottom, since I just put way too much in there, thinking once I pushed it, it would go to the bottom. And the rest I'm just going to store in the refrigerator. So I'm just going to do it that way. I'm just going to kind of make it work with what I have. And then I'm just not going to process all of these mushrooms that and onions that I cut up. So yes, so the recipe calls for just a few ingredients. It's mushrooms, onions, and the mushrooms you could use crimini or what are those? Crimini mushrooms, or you can use any kind of mushrooms you wanted. I chose to use two. Portobello. I'm sorry, that's the one I was thinking of. So I chose to use like a mixture. Portobello mushrooms and crimini mushrooms. So I cut those up. So just getting back to trying new things and failing and succeeding. Like I said, part of my healing was getting out there and trying new things and being okay to succeed or not to succeed, and just learning from the journey and having fun, and not making sure that I did not speak negative things out loud or even think them, get to the point where I knew that God was with me. And even when it came to cooking, I could do all things through Christ, And so, yeah, I just want to say that to encourage anyone out there, because some people think that, this it's just cooking. It's not a big deal, right? But, you just never know when you're going through depressive states, or when you're in deep depression. It could be anything that you do that you think is that if it doesn't work out, that you just start to be really, really hard on yourself. The enemy just uses that as an opportunity to just keep beating you down. So I'm hoping anyone who's watching this will know that just keep moving forward. Try new things, or even old things. And if things don't work out, don't be so hard on yourself, and just, put it all away, and then think about what worked and what didn't work, and come back at it a different way, at a different angle, and try it again until you've mastered it, or you decide, I'm not going to do this. I want to move on and try something else. So anyway, back to my recipe. So what was it? So we have mushrooms, onions, and black beans. And those are the main ingredients, and then some breadcrumbs, and some spices. Not really a lot. I used garlic, and I was 21 seasonings from Trader Joe's. I got that. Garlic powder. I use garlic powder. The recipe said you could use either garlic powder or fresh garlic. I didn't have any fresh garlic, and when I went to the store, I forgot to get it, but I did have garlic powder, and I didn't feel like crushing up the fresh garlic anyway, so I just used garlic powder. So I'm still trying to get all of these enough mushrooms to get a decent amount of burgers in there, because I'm hoping this will last me a few days into the week for work. So anyway, I'm trying not to be too discouraged, but it's coming easy for me, because I've learned that, just keep trying. And so okay, so anyway, so you put all these ingredients, the onions and the walnuts, in a bowl, and you're going to add some of the garlic and seasoning, whatever seasoning you want, and you mix it all up. I'm going to mix it all up, and I'm going to fry it some to get all of the flavors and everything to mix. And there we go. You're going to fry that up on medium heat, and just a little bit. I used extra virgin olive oil, and just mix it around and let it sit. And you put a little bit of salt to kind of absorb some of the liquid, and then I put it in a refrigerator to cool it off, and then it was easy to make into patties that didn't fall apart. And so then I just fried my patties. So the other health benefits of walnuts, the Cleveland Clinic also did a study, and it said that the walnuts can help with heart, brain, and gut health. And so I'm trying to eat more healthy, and because when you take care of your body, that affects your brain, your gut. I'm a nurse, and I work in a field which is gastroenterology. I work in that field, so I know all about the brain-gut connection. So when your gut's not right, or your brain's not, I mean, it's so connected. Believe me, it's so connected. So I'm just trying to do better and take care of my temple, God's temple, not my temple, God's temple, and try to do better with taking care of what He has given me. So I'm just frying these up until they're brown on both sides. And yeah, I just want to encourage anyone to really look at your life from all angles, from your food that you eat, whatever you put in your body, what you put in your mind, what you read, what you watch, what you listen to. All of that really aids in or has something to do with your mental health and with your healing. And you might need to make some changes, as you're working on your healing with your diet and with your what you watch, who you hang out with, what you listen to, who you listen to. Okay, so this is a little recipe I got from one of the videos. It says you take some mayonnaise and put some sriracha in it, and just stir it up to taste. And here are my burgers, and I just made a sandwich, and there's my salad on the side.